Hi guys, welcome to the channel. I've got an announcement that Kabam made today that I'm not really happy with at all. But, well, let's discuss it. I'm eager to hear people's thoughts on this. This is, I come from a place of enjoying a challenge in a game, right? So, for me, this update isn't good, and it's bothered a couple of my club mates as well. So yeah, so I want to share my thoughts, and then I want to basically gather other people's thoughts on this. But anyway, the following updates have been made to the way in which Guardians rank and star rating affect power. Increasing the Guardians rank will now provide attribute boosts. Star rating and astral rating attribute boosts have also been updated. Basically, long story short, all your characters' power in the game has been updated, has been boosted. I'll just bring up my team on screen. Now, I've got my alliance information up here. Yesterday we were about 1.2 million. Now we're at 1.6 million. So, if I look at members, then we'll see, my clubmate Stitch, he was on about 110k. I was on 70k, now I'm up to 92k. If I click on my name, my highest team power yesterday was at 10.5k, and now it's at 14.8k. So I can be pushing master dungeons with this kind of power. Effectively, what we've got going on here is all our characters have been boosted, and the content is a lot easier now. So there was one mission in the game that I hadn't completed, and that was against Jafar. I'd completed it, but I hadn't 3-starred it, and that was against Jafar. And this morning, I did it. I 3-starred it, which is basically completing in under 3 minutes. I 3-starred it, and I 3-starred it with relative ease. I couldn't get close to this before, and I was working on my team, like I was building up my mini. If you don't know, mini hits harder than aerial, so I was leveling my mini up to get to a point where I could take her in and then complete it within the time limit. But this morning I decided to just take an aerial, and it was a breeze. Like I felt no challenge. There was nothing I needed to do any different, just interrupting specials. But if you want the honest truth, my aerial was just hitting much harder. And Jafar has this crazy health pool, and she just got it down a lot quicker. When I play games, I do it for a couple of reasons. I do it for the challenge. I do it for a bit of competitiveness. I like to use strategy to beat stuff. So for me, the Jafar mission was something I could work towards, and I had very little to do in the game now. There's not a lot I've got to do left, really. It was just the Jafar mission. I've got the Bell and Maleficent missions. I can do all events apart from some of the ones that have, weird traits and stuff like that, which is cool. I don't mind those. Again, they give me something to work towards. Towers are very easy for me to do now. I've got all of them on farm, pretty much. So what this is going to do is it's going to make towers much easier. It's going to make pretty much everything autoable. And there's no fun in a game when you can auto everything. Now, I know I come from a place where I've spent a lot of money. I've built up my roster. So you can say, well, tough shit, And this is also why I'm doing this video, because I do genuinely want to hear other people's opinions on this. And if I'm in the minority, then fine, I'll just, I'll just have to deal with it. But if other people feel this way as well, if other people like challenge, then, I'd like to hear you out. The other thing is, I'm going to give Kabam the benefit of the doubt here. I think they wouldn't have done this if it wasn't for a reason. Now, the reasons to me, one is fairly obvious. We've got raids coming. Now, maybe the difficulty of raids was too much, that it needed to boost the power. I don't know. You'd like to think that they would just fine-tune the difficulty of the raid instead. Or we've got, and this is the one I guess I'm hoping for, is that we've got a new tier for like story mode and events. And maybe, if I'm being hopeful here, we've got another like 10 levels on towers or something. Basically, we've got master dungeons in the game right now, but we don't have master on anything else. So it seems fairly obvious that we're going to get master difficulty at some point for story mode, for events, stuff like that. Now, if that was the case, I'd be okay with that, because I've got, because then I've got some challenge again. So, but if that's not the case, then we've got a problem, I think. At least from my point of view. And I know that my club mates share this. Full disclosure, guys, I'm in the club which has basically been number one in both Stellar and Dungeons DT. The only bit of kind of, I guess, competition that's in the game. And I'm not saying that as a... And that's not a brag. That's just that's the place I'm coming from, okay? So I'm in a club with a lot of whales. I'm in a club with a lot of krakens. I'm a whale myself, but like there's some spenders in my club that completely outspend me. And they're also not happy with this because they've lost the challenge as well. I don't spend money in the game if I don't see value from what I'm spending. Now, I've bought the characters I've bought because I felt that they added something to me. Quite frankly, I wouldn't have needed to buy them if they'd made this update. Like, I could have done this with Ariel, Maui, and Mickey, which is what was my original trio. But then I've wailed on characters like Wally, like Simba. I was thinking of wailing on Violet. Like, I don't want to spend money if there's nothing to, like, if there's no challenge from any of it. There's just... It's... And again, like... I am coming from a place where I am in a club with spenders, so... And the game is a free-to-play game. There's players from all ends of the spectrum to cover here, so... This might be a dream for the free-to-play, you know? Like, you guys can finally start hitting those expert levels and complete stuff easier. So I get that it might work in your favour. I get that you might be happy with this update. And let me know in the comments if you are. This video is really, it's just to share my thoughts, really, and also gather the opinion of others. That's really it. As I said, going back to my original point, I like challenge. I like being able to work towards stuff. I've got nothing to work towards now. That's it. That's the reality. The mission with Jafar was the thing that I was working towards. It's sad to say, but that's the truth. I was working in order to basically come to the 3-star that. Because that's the only thing I had left. Now everything's going to be put on auto. I can try Master Dungeons, but here's the thing, guys. Master Dungeons, it's not. If you've done Master Dungeons before, you basically need maps. You need maps. You need wands. The maps are much bigger, so you're obviously going to walk more, and you can make, like, it's so much easier to make bad mistakes in a Master Dungeon, whereas in Expert the map's a lot smaller. You know, it's not as wasteful if you go the wrong way. So you've got the added complexity of the difficulty in Master Dungeons, but you've also got the added complexity of the maps being much bigger, so you could easily make the wrong step and waste all your energy. So I've been really avoiding Master Dungeons, mainly because, like, it would be very wasteful to get to the last mission and not be able to complete it, but also you need a big stockpile of maps and wands to make sure that you do it efficiently. I feel like I can do Expert more efficiently. But now Expert is just going to be stupid easy. So maybe I should just challenge myself by doing Master Dungeons. I don't know, not the biggest fan of this update. I am part of the Kabam content creator program, so maybe I can get some more understanding of why this was made. But to be quite frank, I didn't know anything about this. I had no idea that this was going to happen. So in my mind now, it puts more pressure on Kabam, at least from a spender's perspective, right? Because spenders fund the game. Lots of players in my club here are spending lots of money on the game, which are allowing it to continue. Now, I know we're not the only player base to cater to, but there's a few players here who've spent a lot of money and just feel like it's been wasted because there's really not a lot to do with the money. And there's no point in playing a game which you can just auto. Part of the parcel of spending money is making things easier, but not to the point where everything gets made much easier that you feel like what you've spent money on is now wasted. And that's the feeling at the minute. That's the general feeling. That's how I feel. I've put a heap of money in this game, and with this change, it feels pretty wasted. It feels like, what's the point? Like, when I was spending money to the difficulty that we were playing at. I wasn't spending money to this level of difficulty. I don't know, guys. I don't want to sound like I'm being selfish here, but it's a bizarre move for me. Just a really bizarre move, and it might help certain players. And if you guys are happy with it, let me know, and I'm happy for you. But for me and some other players I know, like, this is not good. This isn't good. This is a weird one. It's a weird one. And I'll probably just have to rein it in. Like, am I going to need Violet now? Definitely not. What am I going to need to spend on? I think that's the question that Kabam need to ask themselves is why what are people going to spend on if you've just made your game autoable? Benefit of the doubt. In my mind, they have to have something that they're ready to release. Got to be a master level difficulty. Has to be that. Rift raids have to be really tough, really good, like a good level of difficulty. Not that we can complete it on day one. That would be the worst thing, is if we could complete Rift raids on day one or even day 30. This stuff needs to be stuff we need to work towards. It needs to be worthwhile. So, Kabam, if you're watching, pressure's on. In my opinion, the pressure is on, and you got to deliver now. So, yeah, let me know what you think of this, guys. Slightly different video today, slightly different context, but yeah, eager to know your thoughts and what you think should happen next, right? What you think? If you think this was a good decision, fine. Let me explain why. I really want to know why you think. If you think this is a good decision, I really want to know why. And if you think this is a bad decision, like I do, on surface level, as I said, benefit of the doubt. If there's stuff going on in the background that I don't know about, raids are going to be awesome, and you got to remember this, guys, that the game just can't be about raids. So even if they've made this decision with raids in mind, it can't trivialize the rest of your game. You still have a game with tons of game modes. You've got to pander to all of that. You can't just make it all about one thing. So even if it's about raids, there's got to be something else. It's got to be there's got to be this master level difficulty. Add 10 levels to towers. I still want Hades and Hercules to cause me problems in that last level of tower. It's just, yeah. Anyway, those are my thoughts. probably gonna get this video is probably gonna be downvoted to hell. But yeah, it is what it is, and if you don't know something about me, is that I'm not a yes man. Like, I'm part of this program, but I'm always going to share my opinion, the good or bad. So yeah, so I'm not looking at this with optimism at the minute. Need something to change my mind, right? Yeah. Thanks for watching.